salvation is a change.
Absolutely. And on the marriage issue, he does contend that marriage is a man and a woman. And let me park here for a moment. Is it okay if I park here for just a moment?
You can do anything you want.
And say why this is so critically important scripturally, and why pastors really need to understand this, and why every follower of Christ needs to understand this. Why is marriage such a big deal to God? Rosemary and I were a part of 300 people invited by Pope Francis to the Vatican in Rome about 2 years ago or so. And there was 300 people there, and from 14 different world religions, all of them saying that marriage is one man, one woman. Now, even outside of biblical revelation, general revelation, God's general revelation of the earth says that marriage is one man, one woman. We were in Paris at the conference on marriage, and there were reports from all over the world what's happening in the fight against marriage. And the African delegates told us a phrase I had never heard before. This is about 2 years ago. They said, you in the West colonized us once before. You came in and controlled us. Now you are, and here's the phrase, you're sexually colonizing us again. The Obama administration is forcing, by withdrawal of aid and defense, is forcing these nations to affirm homosexual practice and homosexual marriage. And they didn't like it at all. So why is marriage such a big deal? Listen carefully. I'm going to walk you through a little bit of Genesis, a little bit of Revelation. Here we go. I don't take us too far in the weeds, I promise. But this is the core of the issue to God's heart. In Genesis, we're made in God's image. But is God male or female? God is neither male nor female. No male by himself is a full expression of the full image of God. No female by herself is a full expression of the full spectrum of the image of God. The writers of the Old Testament, they try to kind of tell who God is, but it's hard because God's God. It's hard to describe. So many times they use masculine terms. Sometimes in Deuteronomy and Isaiah, in Psalms, they'll use even distinctly feminine terms. God as being one who holds like a newborn babe next to the breast, or God having a womb, birthing us. So it uses that language. In Genesis 17, El Shaddai is a hyphenated name for God. El, mighty strong like a mountain, masculinity. Shaddai, breast, nourisher or feeder of a newborn babe. So in the name of God is a depiction of this full spectrum. Now, it's when God created Adam. Now, here we go. The conventional view is God made Adam, he took a rib and created Eve. That may be right, and the English may look that way, but in the Hebrew Bible, and if you even look at the footnotes, like in an NIV, what I'm going to describe is tucked away in the footnotes. When God created Adam, it doesn't say capital A, Adam. He created Adam, humankind. So picture small a, Adam, humankind. And God says it's not good. It's the first time he said it's not good. And he says it's not good because he's alone. The word there in Hebrew, he's as one. No capacity for relationship. He created, don't picture male yet with an Adam. Picture Adam, humankind, being created. He then removed, the word in Hebrew is Sela, T-S-E-L-A. We translate that wrongly, rib, side or half. He removed half. He removed the femininity and now has the masculinity. And now we have male and female. We have Adam and Eve at that point. That's part of the hunger sexually to come together. The desire, the sexual draw to come together is the hunger for the complementary halves of humanity to come together to be a full expression of the full image of God. That's the beauty of covenantal marriage. That's the nature of marriage. So now we have man and woman as they come together. They are a full spectrum of the full image of God. They even have creational powers. We call it procreation. That's the image of God. Two men don't have that. Two women don't have that. A male and female. Let's go a step further. Take the Hebrew word ish and isha. Ish is the word for man. Isha is the word for woman. In ish, there's one Hebrew letter that is not an isha, woman. In isha, there's one Hebrew letter that's in isha that's not in ish, man. The one that's in ish is yod. Picture Y in your mind, yod. The one in isha is hey. Picture an H. Yod, hey, Y-H. Those two letters form the foundation for the name of God, Yahweh, that's used 6,800 times in the Hebrew Bible. In other words, as male and female come together, they're stamped with Yahweh's name on them themselves. Jesus and the church is real marriage. We've never seen real marriage yet. We've only seen facsimiles or appetizer course here on earth. Think of the best marriage you know, and I hope it's your own. That's just a little hors d'oeuvres of the main course. The main course is capital M marriage, Jesus and the church coming together. But Paul says, we don't understand that. So we look at a husband and wife coming together and say, oh, So that's how it happens. The closure of history is going to be Jesus and the church coming together. We even use marital bed language to describe the consummation of history, the culmination of history. Some people say, why is there no marriage in heaven? Heaven is marriage. Heaven is Jesus and the church coming together. Now, if that's what God established on earth as a picture of the closure of history with Jesus and the church, and I were Satan, I would want to destroy that imagery. So that's why the issue of marriage is so critical. In Genesis, it's the image of God. In Revelation, it's the nature of how God closes out history with the great marriage supper of the Lamb, of his Son to the church. And in the flyover section between Matthew 19, Jesus says, I made you male and female, quoting Genesis. Now notice in that text, he says, for this reason, you were made male and female. Now look what happened in Genesis. We were made male and female first. That's gender specificity. Marriage came second. And then third was procreation. What did the enemy do? Come back and go to procreation, kill the babies first. There's abortion. Number two, destroy marriage. They've done that in the last year. And then gender specificity, gender identity, destroyed. They've gone in reverse order, and they've managed to destroy everything God established in Genesis 1, 2, 3. That's why God cares so deeply about this. It's not just, well, we care about marriage because we're anti-gay. No, we're not anti-gay. We're not anti-homosexuals. We're not anti-anybody. We're for what God declares to be righteous and holy and pure.
Amen.
We will be right back after this special message.